You paid $65,000 for your truck. You drove it home. You think you own it. You don't. What you actually purchased was a heavily restricted license to operate a vehicle that the manufacturer still controls in ways that would make your grandfather's jaw hit the floor. And every single year, that control tightens, quietly, legally, and very profitably. Here's the reframe that changes everything. You are not buying a truck anymore. You are buying a subscription delivery device on wheels. The truck is the hardware, the manufacturer is the platform. And just like your phone, your smart TV, and your streaming service, the company that built it has reserved the right to decide what it does, what it stops doing, and what you'll have to pay extra to unlock, after you've already paid full price. This didn't happen overnight. It was engineered in stages, each one normalized before the next was introduced. It started innocuously enough with over-the-air software updates, marketed as a convenience, a way to improve your vehicle without visiting a dealership. Reasonable, even nice. But that same pipeline that pushes improvements into your truck can also push restrictions. It can disable features, it can lock capabilities behind a paywall, and it can do all of this while you're asleep in your driveway. Then came the subscriptions. GM's Super Cruise hands-free driving system requires an active subscription after a trial period expires, on a truck you already own. Ram has explored subscription-based access to certain towing and payload data features. Ford's Blue Cruise, their hands-free highway system, operates on a similar model. You didn't lease these features, you bought the truck they live in, but the manufacturer decided that ownership of the hardware doesn't entitle you to permanent use of the software running on it. That distinction, hardware versus software, is the legal crack they drove an entire business model through. Now here's where it escalates into something genuinely sinister: the repair side. Your truck's engine, transmission, and increasingly its basic mechanical systems are managed by proprietary software that only authorized dealer tools can fully access. If your truck throws a code, a warning, a fault, a flag, an independent mechanic may be able to read it, but resetting it, recalibrating the system, or making certain repairs requires manufacturer diagnostic software that dealers pay licensing fees to access. Independent shops are locked out, by design. Think about what that means for you in practical terms. Your truck breaks down 200 miles from home. The nearest dealer is 60 miles away. There's an independent shop right down the street with a skilled mechanic who has been fixing trucks for 25 years. He can identify the problem. He cannot fix it. Not because he lacks the skill, but because the manufacturer has placed a digital wall between his tools and your truck's brain. You get towed past him to the dealer. The dealer charges you $180 an hour. The wait is 4 days because their service bays are backed up. You had no choice. That's not an accident. That's architecture. Here's who built that architecture and why. The manufacturers, Ford, GM, Stellantis, Toyota, generate billions in post-sale revenue through service, parts, and increasingly software. Morgan Stanley analysts have projected that software and services could represent a larger profit center for automakers than vehicle sales within a decade. Your truck isn't the product anymore. Your truck is the entry point. The ongoing monetization is the product. Every independent repair you take elsewhere, every feature you don't subscribe to, every modification you make outside their ecosystem, that's revenue leaving their model. So, they closed the exits, lobbied against right-to-repair legislation, built proprietary connectors, encrypted diagnostic systems, wrapped it all in terms of service agreements buried in your infotainment setup screen that you tapped agree on without reading. And the numbers make this even harder to stomach. The average dealer markup on manufacturer-authorized parts is 40 to 60% above cost. Labor rates at franchise dealerships now routinely exceed $175 per hour in major markets. A software recalibration that takes a dealer's computer 11 minutes to execute can appear on your invoice as a $300 line item. One truck owner in Texas reported being charged $450 to have a trailer brake controller authenticated to his new Ram, a process that involved a dealer technician plugging in a laptop for less than 20 minutes. The part itself cost $112 at any auto retailer. He had no alternative. The truck wouldn't recognize the controller without dealer authorization. This is insane. You paid for the truck, you paid for the part, and you paid again $450 for permission to use them together, on your own truck, on your own property. Here's how people are fighting back and what's being called the ownership reclamation protocol. It's not one product or one hack, it's a purchasing and maintenance strategy that systematically limits the manufacturer's leverage over your vehicle and your wallet. Step 1. Buy pre-subscription era. Trucks from 2018 and earlier, and in many cases 2020 or earlier, depending on the platform, were built before the software monetization infrastructure was fully embedded. Their systems are more open, more serviceable, and less dependent on manufacturer authorization. This aligns directly with the depreciation window we've covered before. The trucks that save you money at purchase are often the same trucks that save you money to own. Step 2. Find and establish a relationship with an independent shop that specializes in your truck platform before you need them. Shops that focus on Ford trucks or GM trucks specifically have invested in the aftermarket diagnostic tools, ForScan for Ford, HP tuners, TPMS programmers that replicate a significant portion of dealer-only capability at a fraction of the cost. They exist. You just have to find them before the breakdown, not during it. Step 3. Document everything your truck can do on the day you buy it. Screenshot every feature, note every active system, because if a future over-the-air update quietly removes or degrades a capability, you need a baseline to push back or to make a decision about disabling automatic updates entirely, which is possible on most current platforms through your connectivity settings. Step 4. Research right-to-repair legislation in your state and support it actively. Massachusetts passed a landmark automotive right-to-repair law. The manufacturers spent millions fighting it and then sued the state. That fight is coming to every state, and the outcome will directly determine how much control you retain over hardware you legally purchased. The people executing this strategy aren't anti-technology extremists. They're rational truck owners who understand that the value of ownership is being quietly hollowed out and who are making deliberate choices to protect it. They're buying smarter, maintaining smarter, and pushing back on a system that has mistaken their silence for consent. Before you go, there's one more layer to this that almost nobody talks about. It's not just about repairs and subscriptions. There's data. Your truck is collecting it constantly. Location, driving behavior, load patterns, fuel habits, and the manufacturer's terms of service grant them remarkably broad rights over what they do with it, who they share it with, who they sell it to. We pull back the curtain on exactly what your truck knows about you, who's buying that information, and how it's already being used against truck owners in ways you'd never expect. That video is next. You need to see it.